Good morning and welcome to another edition of Good Morning Trinidad and Tobago right here on CTV in Talk City 91.1 FM. We're streaming live on ctvtt.com. We invite you to interact with us via any of our various social media platforms. We'd love to hear from you. We also invite you to download our CTV app for the very latest news, current affairs and trending topics on our program. As per usual, we have a full show for you. We promise it will be very, very educational and entertaining. During an earthquake, many questions arise about insurance for damaged properties, specifically cars, homes, and other buildings. We will be discussing what the insurance really covers and help to clarify any sort of misconceptions that you may have. Later on the program, we will be touching base with seismologist Dr. Joan Latchman of the University of the West Indies Seismic Research Center. She has time and again warned that the Eastern Caribbean was ripe to deliver its largest magnitude earthquake. Big question, was that the earthquake she was talking about? Also, we will be talking a little bit about what sort of preparations can be put in place. She always spoke about putting things in place. We get into talking a little bit about policy and even things that we can do as citizens. Later on the program, we will be talking about the TTRW Charity Showcase for the second consecutive year. The Rotary Club of Port of Spain has partnered with the Trinidad and Tobago Restaurant Week to host the TTRW Showcase. And we will be chatting with Ms. Shaira Mohammed and Mr. Hayden Gittins about that. And then we touch base with our friends in Tobago. The topic would be fixing Black Rock Hard Court. Plans are being put in place to assist with repairing the Black Rock Hard Court via the Bago Row event. So we have a lot to discuss there. Also, there is a new initiative about purchasing school books online. It's a service that was developed to help parents with the convenience of sourcing books online. And guess what? Even getting those books papered. So something we definitely want to talk about. Later on the program, we will be touching base with the Minister of Communications and National Security, Mr. Stuart Young, as we discuss conversations with the Prime Minister as it resumes in Tobago. So that and so much more right here on our program. So joining me on set this morning, we have Mr. Russell Hero, Underwriting Manager at Sagico, and we also have Marketing Manager Lisa Mahabe. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Now, my first question to you. During and even after this earthquake, everyone was talking about insurance coverage. And there were so many misconceptions and concerns and confusion around it. So hopefully today we can clear some of those and straighten things out. How important is insurance coverage at a time of natural disasters?
It is very important in that a home is a person's most valuable asset for which they have worked most of their life and take mortgages for 25, 30 years. With an insurance policy, you can have an insurance company paying to repair your home or replace your home in the event of either partial loss or total loss by earthquake or any other natural can occur.
All right, so let's talk about the various insurance coverage available at Sagico Insurance. For instance, property, the contents, motor vehicles, given a recent earthquake. Sometimes people may think, okay, so I have insurance coverage for my home. Does that mean that the contents are also automatically insured?
Well, let's start off first in terms of buildings occupied for commercial use, restaurants, bars, etc. A fire and special perils policy is usually one offered to those clients. For the contents of that business, together with one's home, a residential policy such as a homeowner's policy will provide that cover. Now, the good thing about it is all insurance companies in Trinidad and Tobago who offer a fire and special perils policy for the commercial building or a homeowner's policy covering buildings occupied for residential use do inherently include cover for natural disasters such as earthquake, hurricane, etc. So that's the great news in terms of buildings occupied for commercial use and residential use. Once we effect either a fire and special perils policy for the commercially occupied building or a homeowner's policy for the residential occupied building, they all include that cover.
And that's the structure?
Yes, both the structure itself and the contents within that structure.
Okay, great.
So the peril of earthquake is included inherently in all of the policies offered by all of the insurers in Trinidad and Tobago, I'm happy to say.
Let's talk about vehicles now.
Right. Therein lies a difference. Sagico is one of 3 or 4 local insurers whose policy is issued on what we call an accidental damage basis, whereby it inherently includes cover for natural disasters. Unfortunately, other insurers offer cover for what is known as named perils policy, collision, explosion, etc. The cover for earthquake is included under what is called the special perils extension, and for which most customers would need to ask for that extension. It's not always automatically offered by some insurers in the market.
All right. So what are your thoughts on that? Have you all received any sorts of phone calls even after the earthquake with people having questions? What sort of misconceptions are usually circulating around this time?
We do have our Sagicor customers who called in regarding the issue with the Subaru at One Road Place where it was damaged,
yes,
asking whether they have insurance cover for that. So I'm happy to say that Sagicor's policy being issued on an accidental damage basis inherently includes that cover. If, however, they were not with Sagicor and with another company whose policy is not on the accidental damage basis, then they would need to ensure that their policy covers the special perils extension to cater for loss or damage caused by earthquake as in this instance.
Okay. And what are some mistakes that many homeowners perhaps would make as it relates to the amount of coverage?
Most people want to pay the least cost for insurance purposes. It's always one of the last costs they'd like to incur. However, owning a home is their most valuable asset. The value of the insurance should be reflective of the cost to rebuild or replace the home in the event of a natural disaster, whether there is a partial loss or total loss. So in essence, people underinsure their homes in order to save premium and only discover at the end of the stage where a loss occurs that they're underinsured, and then they say, okay, the insurance company is paying them less than they should be getting. But if somebody underinsures their property, at the time of a loss, unfortunately, a principle called average is going to apply. Essentially, if you insure for 75% of the actual value of your property and you have a partial loss, you will get back 75% of your claim.
Okay.
If you insure for over 85% and more, your full claim will be paid to you. So we implore our clients, please ensure your sum insured reflects the rebuilding cost of your property together with the contents of one's home.
In Trinidad and Tobago, have you noticed that people usually take precautions and go ahead and get that special perils insurance?
Generally, yes, if you are an informed customer. Unfortunately, if you are not informed to know to ask for that cover, you may effect a policy without having that special price extension clause put on, for which the premium is really nominal. But it needs to be asked for with some insurance companies.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some of the steps that people can take following a natural disaster in the event that there is damage to property or even vehicles and that sort of thing.
May I defer this question to Lisa?
Well, first of all, the first priority for us is to ensure that the customers and our staff and our family and your families are safe. That is most important. And the steps that we have come up with some very simple steps, because we understand that this is a time of anxiety. This is a time when you're panicking and you're unsure of what is happening. The first thing is to secure the property as much as possible. If it's damaged by an earthquake or a hurricane or whatnot, do not dispose of anything at this point. It is important you take some pictures before you have done the cleanup. So there are damages to your wall, there are damages to your roof, there are damages to your fences, your glass front. You need to take those photographs. Complete a claim form. That is most important as well. And get an estimate for the repairs. Submit those as soon as possible to us, as soon as you can get to us. Now, it is also important that if the property is not safe, or if it is that your property is going to endanger your life, we do not recommend that you live in it, you stay in it, you be around it. So on a final note, I also like to discuss the aspect of the excess, which is usually a 2% of the insurance value, which is the standard across the insurance industry, which really means that if it is that you have a loss and your property is valued at $1 million, there is an excess that you have to pay, which is 2% of that amount, right? Now, it is also important that if you have damages to your vehicle and to your property, your contents, that you call us immediately. You could contact any one of our Sagicor representatives, may it be a broker, may it be an agent, may it be a financial advisor, or call us directly. Our phone numbers are 623-4744, and you provide us with your name, your address, and your phone number. It is also important that you provide us with your policy number. If you don't have it, it's not a problem. We will get it on our system. And a brief description of the loss. Tell us exactly what the damages are. And then we would now take the opportunity to appoint an adjuster or surveyor to come to you to assess your damage and to get you back on your feet again.
All right.
It's very, very simple. This information as well is also available on our Facebook page. It is very, very simple. So you can just go on our Facebook page, which is Sagicor General Insurance, and you'll be able to follow the steps accordingly.
Are those claim forms available online?
The claim forms are not available online at this time, but definitely it's easy that we can email it to you, or we can have them available with the adjusters.
Wonderful. Let's talk a little bit about advice to those who perhaps would have had damage and loss.
In terms of the repairs?
Yes.
Well, Lisa mainly essentially outlined what the procedure is, but what I'd like to recommend, if I may, for those persons who don't have insurance right now, or don't know whether they have adequate insurance, the ideal thing is to check your policy document. Unfortunately, we have clients who don't always read their policy documents or complain about the fine print. Sagicor some years ago made our policy reader friendly, in that stopped using the English jargon words and converted it to normal layman language that everybody could understand. So it is imperative people, one, find out whether they have insurance cover, the value of that insurance cover, and if they don't, contact their producer in the shortest possible time so we can have them adequately covered in the event of another earthquake, which the experts recommend will come with aftershocks.
How affordable are the insurance packages?
It is very affordable. In the last 10 years on our local market, rates have been dropping constantly, to where at some times it may have been considered uneconomical to be writing insurance policy for a certain rate. However, with the hurricane losses of September 2017, insurers are trying to have our rates increased in light of the losses paid, the hundreds of millions of losses paid in the September 2017 losses. But still, it is relatively inexpensive considering somebody's home may be worth $1 million. You can buy a homeowner's policy for as little as $3,500 plus 6% insurance premium tax on the local market. So when you consider $1 million value property and a premium of $3,500 per year, it does make economic sense to insure your property by going to your recommended insurance producer.
Okay. Now, just to continue from where you started, you mentioned that it's necessary to take pictures and that sort of thing. After the pictures, what's the next step, and how long does that entire assessment process take? Do you all send people to the home to further assess it and that sort of thing?
Yes. So basically, we would assign an adjuster or surveyor to your location, and they would it will just take a matter of maybe a days or even the same day. It all depends on the availability and the amount. One of the things to really note is that it is a sensitive time for our customers. It is very sensitive for anyone who has a loss. And it's really important that you stay calm throughout the process. Our staff at Sagicor are trained to understand what the losses incurred and how to take you through those steps. So it's very, very important that you understand that it is going to take a little time, but it's not going to be as long as you imagine. That customers would know that. That they would not know that, but they would understand that by the time they speak to one of our representatives, they would walk them through the process.
What gives Sagicor the edge among its competitors?
One of the great things is we like to have clients outside of our claims department in the shortest possible time. As Lisa mentioned, having a loss is not easy for anyone.
Yes.
It's always a period of anxiety and uncertainty. Our claims department and process is set up in such a way, from the time we have all the documents we require to look into a loss, etc., we have claim checks ready within 3 to 5 business days, regardless of the loss. The documentation submitted, we have that. We want to get you back on your feet in shortest possible time. And I'm saying this for Sagicor, but other insurance companies are also set up that way as well. But we understand the position people are in at that time. So give us the documentation that we ask for. It's not a lot. It's very simple. We assist you with getting that information. 3 to 5 business days, your check is in your hand.
Wonderful. What would you like to add? Is there anything else that you'd like to say to those looking on or even listening?
I would like to say that if you need any information at all, contact us. Call us at the offices. We have 5 locations around Trinidad and Tobago. We also have our Facebook page, our Instagram page. And I'd also like to add, there are some people who do not own a property, but they have contents that they own. And that's also important. So it is not expensive as well for you to even insure your own contents, even if you're renting or you are staying at someone's home. That is very important, and it's not expensive. So contents insurance is also available to those who are not homeowners, and those are items that are also covered
Great.
in our plan.
What are your closing comments at this time?
Lisa essentially covered it, but essentially let our Trinidadians and Begonians appreciate the value of insurance cover. It is always seen as a secondary cost, but if you truly want peace of mind, paying a little premium over the policy period of 12 months does give you that peace of mind. So please ensure that your home is insured, the contents of one's home insured, or even of your business. It's not as expensive as some people think, and the process is a relatively straightforward and simple one.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you so much.
We've been chatting with Mr. Russell Hira, Underwriting Manager, Sagicor, and Marketing Manager Lisa Mahabe. We now take you to our local weather forecast.